Now I'm 4 or 5 seconds from wildin', and we got 3 more days till Friday.
Before we get started, I just want to thank you for coming through, checking us out. Also, links below to all of our various social networking outlets. If you liked the video, don't forget to like it, leave a comment, jump in, don't be shy, and always, please, make sure you subscribe for more. Enjoy the video. Peace. What is the deal, beautiful people? It's your boy Ramon, lifestylesdefined.com. Let's talk Samsung and the new hero phones, the Galaxy S6 and the Galaxy S6 Edge. So yes, the rumors were true, and Samsung was indeed working on a dual edge display for the Galaxy S line. Right off the bat, you want to talk the design of these two things. I think both phones are very beautifully crafted. Samsung did a good job at continuing to innovate in the space of their own design language and what they feel a phone should look like and a premium device should feel like. Now, if you want to line this thing up next to a iPhone 6, that bit of compliment starts to go out the door exceptionally quickly. But nonetheless, these phones are beautiful. I find I am more partial to the Edge more so than the regular Galaxy S, because it's got this, I don't know, it's just a dope looking silhouette when the screen just falls off the side. I really enjoy that. So it's in the front, it looks like a standard Galaxy phone. You got those two circles, that long line with the speaker and then the camera circle, and on the bottom they're very persistent again with the menu button to the left, the back button to the right, and that that oblong elongated home button. So that's a Samsung phone. That's what we're used to. That's what they're continuing to offer. The entire device now is made completely of metal and glass. And if you look at the Note 4, I was expecting something along that line. Although I think the Note 4 is a very beautiful device, but I wasn't a fan of the metal ridges on the edge. They did make it easier to hold, but I just wasn't a fan. I thought it could have been done a little more tasteful. And here comes the Galaxy S line, and it has been done a little more tasteful. The metal going across the side of the device is nice and flush. They did a good job with the design of this guy. I can't say enough about the design, especially on the Edge. So in the specs department, it's coming out with Samsung's latest octa-core chipset, which is 8 cores, and they each clocked at 2.1 gigahertz. So I mean, there's going to be a 1.5 gigahertz model. I don't know if that's going to be octa-core as well, or quad-core. Samsung really isn't saying. People are asking because traditionally what they unveil at MWC is not what we get in the US. And it makes the octa-core version a bit of a unicorn if that's not what we get, right? And even so, if we do get an octa-core version and it's only the 1.5 gigahertz version, people will always want more. But nonetheless, it's spec'd with 3 gigs of RAM and a 2550 milliamp battery. Now, where things get interesting is the 5.1 Quad HD Super AMOLED display that Samsung's given this guy. I thought it was interesting they went Quad HD because I was getting comfortable with the notion of HTC not going Quad HD and keeping it 1080p, mainly for the fact that it's hard to tell the difference. It really is, guys, with these resolutions on your phone. And for the sake of battery life, I think it's really important that we try to squeeze as much battery as much as possible. And at only 2500 milliamps, pushing a 5.1 Quad HD screen all day, I'm a bit worried about that, how that battery life is going to fare. But from the reports of people who've seen the device, up front and center. The screen is gorgeous, and it continues that trend where Samsung does make the best displays in the industry, particularly for phones. So good on Samsung for that. So far we're looking good. The design is out the ballpark. The specs are top notch. The 3 gigs of RAM is more than welcome, and you know I can't be angry at that display. I mean, when it's the best, it's the best. So coming down to the camera, it has a 16 megapixel shooter. Samsung chose not to up the megapixels, but to just work on refining the camera. Obviously, you've got your optical image stabilization returning, or OIS, and this guy has an aperture of 1.9. So that's getting really interesting, right? Because if you follow camera phones, we started out with just a camera, then they actually worked in the specs, and we were able to get 2.2 f-stop. Then we got 2.0 f-stop, and the 2.0 era is, you can see that on the last iterations of the Galaxy and the Notes and the Nokias. Now here comes Samsung with the 1.9. Now this is gonna be dope. This means that the camera can handle it can handle better images with less grain at lower light, and you can expect a fair bit of depth of field, or a little more depth of field than we did in the 2.0 range. So I'm happy to see this. And interestingly enough, the front-facing camera also has a 1.9 aperture rating, so that's pretty dope. 4K video returns, and from what I've been seeing, Samsung's done a good bit of tricks with both the optical image stabilization, some software tricks to really get that 4K video up. So it's good to see it return there. And there's also something I think was missing from Android for a very long time. You know, you've got Nokias are heavy on a camera button, a dedicated camera button. Not many Android phones adapted that. So what Samsung's done here is you can go ahead and double tap the home button, and that actually launches the camera. I think that's dope. I think that's a great solution to a problem that many people don't understand is a problem. You know, you want to get a picture of something, you're fumbling around with your phone, and the moment's gone. So good on Samsung for doing that. Also, on the topic of the home button, they've refined the fingerprint scanner. So the fingerprint scanner, before you had to sort of swipe your hand, your finger. Now you don't have to swipe your finger. It'll actually, you know, you just rest it there and it'll read it. So that's something that should have been better from jump, but it's good to see them continue to dial it in. And I think that will solve the problem of accuracy that we were having with the Note device, where the swiping was just frustrating, quite frankly. They've also built in the wireless charging. It supports both standards on the market right now, so that's a win. TouchWiz returns, of course, and there's Lollipop underneath. Now, one of the things I thought was interesting is they put a shot out there where they said there's no lag. And you know, for a while now, I've been looking at the Galaxy S line as a disappointment to Samsung's flagship phones because of the lag and the stuttering. And every time I review one of these phones and I say it lags and it stutters, I can see it quite clearly. People come back and say, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. And here's Samsung saying, all right, well, this time we got rid of it. So whether they did it or not remains to be seen. From what I could tell in a lot of the videos and watching people use the phone at NWC, it does look a lot more smooth. They look like they dialed back a lot of TouchWiz's presence. The OS is still, well, not the OS, the overlay, the skin, the TouchWiz skin is still a little too colorful for my taste. But nonetheless, it looks great. I can't wait to see what this thing looks like in person, especially with that Quad HD going on. But not all is well here. There are some very big negatives, and I don't consider these negatives to a smartphone. But when you take into consideration the Galaxy's legacy and the type of consumer who gravitates toward the Galaxy line, these are indeed negatives. So first of all, the water resistance is gone, the IP67 rating, no more. Obviously, because this thing is made out of plastic, of metal and glass. So that's out the door now. Also, there's no removable battery, which is a problem. And I think a 2550 milliamp battery is a little small for a flagship device these days. I would have liked to seen that guy come with at least 3000. But there's some concern there where a 2550 milliamp battery pushing that quad HD display, what is that going to look like over time? It would have been nice to have a failsafe to just have the option to buy another battery like people have been doing with Samsung devices. And then again, there's no support for SD cards. That's out the door. So you're going to want to treat this like an iPhone. You're going to want to get the biggest one you can get your hand on from scratch if you're the type of person that, you know, really puts a lot of storage on your device. So there's some downsides there. In terms of the differences between the Galaxy S6 and the Galaxy S6 Edge, there isn't much. I think, like I mentioned before, I just adore the silhouette of the Galaxy S6 Edge. I think it's so dope, and Samsung's even did some nice things with the supported edge, the edge of the screen. So they've got this shortcut to your friends. You can slide out from the side, and you can call them or email them. It was odd. It was only email. I figured they would have put text in there as well, but yeah, you can do that. Or if you've got the phone laying on the side, laying on the face down, when someone calls that's on that list, the correlating color to the bubble behind them shows up as a LED strip on the bottom, so you sort of know who's calling without even picking up the phone. I thought that was dope. The inclusion of edges on both sides means that the phone won't be awkward to hold for either left-handed or right-handed people, which was a bit of a concern, really, or a problem on the Note Edge, because Samsung's only remedy for that was to turn the phone upside down, and then there you have it. It's you can use it for left-handed people, but the buttons were upside down, and it wasn't the best thing in the world. But I think having two edges is dope, and I think it's a home run with this thing. I just gotta wait to get my hands on one to see how it is in everyday use and how it omits the accidental presses, when you're holding it on the side. But I think the design is through the roof. Samsung did a really good job. I would love to see a Windows Phone version of this. The specs are nice. The camera I want to get a hold of. Samsung's did a good job with the Note, so I'm excited to see what this guy can do with a 1.9 aperture lens, and I'm glad to see them improve the fingerprint scanner. The heartbeat sensor still back there, the heartbeat reader, or whatever you want to call it. I think it's still silly, but it's still there nonetheless. And this looks like a solid device from Samsung. Will it stop the bleeding that's been going on? I don't know. It's so tough to really understand why Samsung's been in trouble with their market share and their devices. But clearly they got their head down and they're still working. So this is a dope device, man. I like it. I really like it. I look forward to meeting it in person and putting it through the ringer. But it's your boy Ramon. Like the video if you liked it. Share it to your friends if you know anyone that's interested in this device. By all means, send them this video. Say, hey, check this out. And subscribe to the channel. I'm out of here.